Hey ladies, welcome or welcome back to my channel. How you doing? Hope you guys are having a great week so far. So this is your daily dose of truth. No fluff, no filters. Let's get into it. So a few videos ago, I posted about the government panicking that the fact that the birth rate is plummeting, right? And they were offering $5,000 if women choose to have children. Now, it's not just women saying that this is crazy. Minimum wage is horrible. What we used to make back then and now it's completely different. You're pulling back our rights. You are making parenthood feel like a punishment rather than a reward, rather than an amazing experience. So why would we listen to you telling us about the birth rate when we can barely feed ourselves? Some families, they depend on free lunches at school, public schools at that, to feed their kids sometimes because they just don't have it. And you're asking those same people, you're pulling those benefits back, right? SNAP benefits and Medicaid and stuff like that, and you're expecting them to pull the money out of thin air to take care of the kids, but they were using those benefits because they needed them. So I'm just happy to be contributing to the fact that the birth rate is low. Clock it, period. And if you are participating and making sure that the birth rate plummets even further down to hell under Satan's feet, give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, like this video, share it with other women that you know are participating. Anyways, let me stop rambling. Like they really think that women weren't going to retaliate. Like, this is not a joke. You're not listening to us, that's fine. And I think they're also going to go even further by taking our birth control away because they just won't listen to us. They won't listen to us and telling them exactly what we need, right? They don't care. So we're going to show them just how much we don't give a fuck. Let's get into the video.
So I am 5 weeks postpartum with twin girls, and I've been seeing a lot of headlines recently about how the birth rate in America is declining and how concerning that is. So I thought to myself, I could think of a lot of reasons why the birth rate might be declining. First and foremost, cost. And I decided to take it upon myself and look back at every single bill that I received over the course of my pregnancy and total what it costs to deliver twins in America. For context, I am 36 years old, which is considered advanced maternal age, and I was pregnant with di twins, which already made my pregnancy high risk. But about halfway through my pregnancy, there were concerns about possible fetal growth restriction. So from about 22 weeks on, I had 2 appointments every week, one with my OB, one with the maternal fetal medicine specialist, every single week until I delivered at 37 weeks. So what was the total cost of that? From the start of my pregnancy through delivery and me walking out of those hospital doors, the total cost billed for my care was $120,527.51. Now, I am very fortunate. I have great insurance and I have a low deductible. So over the course of my pregnancy, out of pocket, I paid $2,038.70, which I know is relatively good, but still $2,000 for something that is considered necessary and vital to the future of America is pretty significant. Interestingly enough, my children also received bills for their delivery. So kind of funny, they're not even able to blink yet, and they've already been billed more than the total cost of my student loans. So baby A received a bill. She was billed $15,124.55, and baby B was billed $14,872.55. So I guess there was some sort of sibling discount. But the total cost that I owed from those 2 bills was $750, which is the cost of my deductible. Now, something else I wanted to look into was what was the highest bill that I received during the course of my care outside of my delivery. And at around 7 months, I went to a BPP appointment and I had complained to my doctor about recently having headaches. So they took my blood pressure and they wanted to rule out preeclampsia. My blood pressure was slightly elevated. So my doctor said, better safe than sorry, let's send you upstairs for monitoring. So I go upstairs, spend about 20 minutes on the heart monitor for my babies to make sure that they were okay. I was given 2 extra strength Tylenol and they did some blood work. And the cost that was billed to my insurance for that visit was $9,115. So I had a scheduled C-section at 37 weeks, which is considered full term for twins. I spent 4 days in the hospital post-delivery, and the total cost of my care for delivery and postpartum was $65,665.50. All things considered, I'm very grateful for the experience that I had, very grateful to have great insurance, but I know that for a lot of people who live in America, that is simply not possible. And if I did not have insurance, delivering my 2 girls, which by the way, conceived naturally, I did no fertility treatments, twins were completely unexpected, I would not be able to afford it if I did not have insurance. In fact, I probably would have had to file bankruptcy had I not had insurance. So when people act confused about why birth rates are down, maybe it's not necessarily all attributed to lifestyle choices. Maybe it's not, oh, people just aren't feeling the vibe of having kids. Maybe it's because the cost of having a baby in America is over 6 figures. And that's just to get through the hospital and back home.
Want to know why the U.S. birth rate's going down? Let's break it down in under 60 seconds. First, people are having kids later. Women are getting married later, focusing on careers, and by the time they're ready, some just decide to skip it. Second, money. Raising a kid in the U.S. can cost over $300,000. Childcare alone can run thousands a year. Add rent, debt, and inflation, it's a lot. Third, culture shift. Younger generations value freedom, travel, and mental health. Many just don't see kids as part of that future. Fourth, birth control. Access is easier than ever, and people are using it. And lastly, the world feels unstable. Climate change, politics, war. Some say, why bring a child into this? This isn't just a phase. Birth rates have been dropping for years. And it's not just the U.S. Most rich countries are seeing the same trend.
Having a baby is a luxury item in 2025. My coworker had a baby and now she's $500,000 in debt. She was listing out all the medical expenses she had from her pregnancy and giving birth. Altogether, it comes out to nearly $500,000. And all the health insurance our job provides covered exactly none of it. This was an accidental pregnancy that she initially wanted to end and was very distraught, but her boyfriend convinced her to have the baby. A tale as old as time. They're unmarried, so his job insurance also doesn't cover anything. And without getting into the particulars, let's just say he's not carrying around the weight of as a parent should in any regard. And the comments, color me shocked that the boyfriend who convinced her to have the baby isn't pulling his weight as a parent. And apparently this is a common theme among men in general. Then there's some questions about why the hell is it $500,000? Was it a long NICU stay? At about $16,000 per day, it adds up quick. That would be a month at the hospital. But again, the post did say that it included the pregnancy. But some exciting news for child-free people. The buy-sap that this child-free person had was free. Yay, state insurance. So take the trip. Upgrade the flight. Because you could be saddled with $500,000 debt with a newborn.
Every time someone brings up how low birth rates are right now and how rapidly they are dropping, the first thing that comes to my mind is always, thank God. If anything, I think we can go lower. Let's all start a how low can you go challenge.
Not having children under this administration is probably one of the biggest acts of protest that we can do as a collective. And that's really stressing me out as someone who is approaching that period of time in their life. I actually think about it daily and I don't know what to do because I have concerns about my actual safety and reproductive rights. I have concerns about bringing a child into this world, not knowing, who that child is going to be under this administration. I have concerns about what the next 4 years are going to bring and, navigating that with a newborn. And just this generation's push to trap women in these traditional gender norms. They want women barefoot and pregnant, financially insecure, and unable to vote. Genuinely. Why do you think they're criminalizing reproductive rights? It's to criminalize them and strip them of their voting power. At the same time, I'm about to be 32. Our parents are getting older. That concerns me. And I know that people have been having children in times of war, political unrest, whatever, since the beginning of time. But I'm really conflicted and just struggling and actively making that choice under this administration. If you're experiencing similar thoughts, fears, or feelings, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Everything just
The day they were talking about the falling birth rate again in the news. This is always in the news and it annoys me every time it comes up because they always put it down to an economic issue, right? They're always like, people aren't having kids because kids are expensive to raise, which is true, but it's not the driving force behind the declining birth rate. The reason why people aren't having kids is because people are not forming couples. Globally, irrespective of whether women are highly educated or not highly educated, or the cost of living is low or high, people are not having kids because universally, people are not forming couples anymore. There aren't any couples, so people aren't having kids. And it's so jarring when people put it down to a money issue, which, don't get me wrong, I'm sure, yes, this is a huge factor, but the more poignant issue is that people are not coupling up. Namely, women are struggling to get into relationships with men that they want to have kids with in the first place. So it's even in countries where they've got really great policies around like women and maternity and like motherhood and child tax credits and whatnot, people are still not having kids because you're throwing money at an issue that isn't a money problem. It's a social problem. But that's a harder conversation to have, right? Because it means that people have to look at themselves. It means that we have to make changes that are not as easy as being like, we're going to give you X amount and this is going to make you have a kid. That's not going to cut it anymore. So stop, like, oh, don't get me wrong, I would love some money. I would love some money. But if you give me £2 million now, I'm not having a kid. Do you know what I mean? So we got
money that's supposed to go for birth control. They want to reroute that to instead establish an infertility training center.
Infertility is not the cause of the birth rate decline. The reasons are largely socioeconomic. The rising cost of living, lack of affordable housing, affordable health care, increased access to education and career. These are the reasons fertility rates have dropped. They're making this fertility argument because they're trying to do this, oh, there's orthotricycline in the water and it's poisoning everybody. No. We're not having trouble conceiving. Trouble conceiving isn't the issue. On average, women know that having children or having more children than they have in this country, in this time, in this economy, would not allow them to thrive, would put their economic security at even further risk, and would not allow them to be able to raise a child and provide for that child in the way that they would need to. For the first time in the history of our fertility, we have all the tools available to make very smart and very rational decisions about childbearing. And we're making them. People want to have children. They just don't want to have them under these conditions. And they're having no trouble conceiving. They just don't want to have children under the current conditions.
They'll do everything in this damn country to get us to have more babies, except make it easier to have babies. Make it safer to have babies. People don't want kids in these trifling times. Stop taking the playbook from Germany. It didn't work for them. It's not gonna work for us. And yes, I do know it's because the government is mostly white, old, decrepit crypt keepers that are scared that white people are gonna be the minority. Let us. It's our turn to be put down at this point.
I don't keep up with the maggots because really it's not in my interest to follow anyone in a cult. However, a video pops up today that really scared the shit out of me. It was these women under Maha saying this slogan. They're leading their own little fucking sorority chapter. Less burnout, more babies. Oh, fuck me. This is really important because I remember, I think this was my freshman year of college, I had a male professor tell us that birth rates were significantly going down, and in the future, there would be more unmarried childless women than there were married women with children. And he was the first person coming from a small conservative hometown to show the study of unmarried childless women being happier. I've since seen Republicans try to refute this, but there's no refuting the fucking facts. What do they say? Facts not feeling? To be honest, I don't want to be wealthy by any sense, but I'd like to be richer than a lot of men that I'm standing in a room with. And yeah, no, my ultimate goal for life is not to be a mother. It's not to be sitting there baking cookies on my hands and knees begging for a fucking Quaalude to come back into existence. It's just not for everybody. I know of anyone, not only that parenting is really hard and strips you of a lot of your personal freedoms, especially as a mother, but I also know that not everybody should have kids. And I'm a 5th generation addict. I don't think that should be passed down. I don't think RFK does.
Look, last year, U.S. fertility rates dropped to their lowest levels ever as just 1.6 kids are being born for every woman. The United States used to be one of the few countries with a fertility rate high enough to actually guarantee replacing its population at 2.1, but that's been sliding for about 2 decades now, and geez, I wonder why. It couldn't possibly be because America has become so unlivable and unaffordable that people can barely take care of themselves. So many people are living paycheck to paycheck just to make sure they survive on their own that they couldn't possibly even take care of a pet, let alone a child that is going to cost you several $1,000s just to have, and that's with insurance. Without insurance, it's going to be like $18,000. And don't worry, because the cost of raising that child to be, 18, it's going to run you around 300 grand. So I'm sure everyone's got that squared away to have a kid. And it's not like the Trump administration is doing anything meaningful to make having a child more affordable. No, he talked about making a baby signing bonus of $5 grand, but that's going to be a drop in the bucket compared to every other cost associated with it. He's never going to do anything like free childcare because guess what? That's socialism to them. Their best effort was getting rid of abortion, but that's not going to actually make people have kids. It's just going to put women's lives at risk because guess what? When you make something illegal, it doesn't make it go away. It just drives it underground. So people are going to be forced to have back alley abortions like they did 100 years ago. Or our population also isn't going to be helped by immigration because Trump is making sure to ruin that as well. Whether it's legal or illegal immigration, people are just not interested in coming to the States as much anymore, so we're not getting our population boost that way. Honestly, at this rate, Trump is going to have to start World War III because then when it's over, if we don't die in a nuclear Armageddon, at the very least, we might have another baby boom generation.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that fertility rate, low as fuck since last year. Are you dumb? So proud of my girls. This generation, turn this shit the fuck around, and y'all hate to see it. Mind you, this is the real team. Fuck them kids. Yeah, she was an auntie with no babies. Ain't it crazy? And you hate it. I'm in Dubai with my ladies. Fuck is you talking about? Ladies, like I said, we're doing great. Society has made the fatal mistake of convincing us as women that we have to procreate just because they said to. Fuck that. The economy is shit. We in a recession. No babies. None. Me personally, I've never seen such responsible activity as a whole. It's beautiful. It's a time to be alive, okay? Nobody can afford to live. Period, point blank. Bacon, egg, and cheese is $6.50. I be damn. I bring a little penny into the world to see this shit struggle in real life. I don't think
they said birth rates decreased in 2024. They probably gonna decrease in 2025. I'm trying to figure out why y'all had to do a study to figure that out. Why did y'all have to do a study to figure that out? I could have told y'all that was gonna happen without even doing a study. You wanna know why? I got invited to a baby shower the other day. I said, bet, let me go get some Pampers and make a diaper cake. Do you know how much a pack of 25 Pampers is? I just checked, and a pack of 66 Pampers is $28 now. Some might say, that ain't that much. That's a lot of Pampers. Do you know how much babies doo-doo? Do you know how much babies doo-doo? I went to see my best friend like last month. She got a new son. She had to change that boy so much. It would be times I would feed him all her with that's another pamper. I'm pretty sure if I asked both of my girlfriends who got babies how many pampers they go through in a day, they probably say at least 5 to 9. Them babies be pooping. Them babies be peeing. They be uncomfortable. As soon as they get uncomfortable, you got to change the diaper. Let's move away from diapers. I vividly recall in 2024 going into the grocery store and they had eggs for $9. Eggs for $9. Bread $5.45. Shoot, the pack of noodles that used to be like 49 cents when I was younger, they want $2 for one pack of noodles. Like, it's gotten so bad that even the rich people are complaining. Did y'all not see that video of Cardi B complaining? Cardi B was like, look, I know I'm rich, but at the end of the day, I still got mouths to feed. And the way that these grocery store prices are pricing, baby, I'm finna be at the food pantry like the poor folks. Everybody is struggling. Everybody is suffering. Not to mention, a whole influx of folks have lost their jobs due to the president that y'all put into the office, and one of those people is me. I was unfortunately one of the people that was impacted by the government, because of the government firings. So my thing is, with all those things considered, and then considering all the other things that we have to deal with as a country, why on God's green earth do y'all think I was bringing a child into this world this year or last year? Are y'all crazy? Are y'all crazy? I don't even want to hunch. I don't even want to do because it runs the risk of me potentially having to bring a child into the world. That's where I'm at right now. I'm working off of, or I'm living off of unemployment. One paycheck of unemployment, $300 a week. My unemployment doesn't even cover my rent, utilities, groceries, necessities, then things that I potentially want. And you think I'm finna be hunching and give birth to a baby? Let me tell you something. I have no interest in struggling in this world anymore. I have struggled enough for 28. I have enough struggle for 28 years that I don't plan on struggling no more. And I don't plan on bringing no child into no world where they are also going to struggle, because whether people want to believe it or not, I believe that you are indebted to your child until for forever. They didn't ask to be in this world. So yes, that is your responsibility. That child's your responsibility. So you think I want to take on the responsibility of not having a job, while also the responsibility of paying for rent, also the responsibility of raising a child in this economy, in this world? And again, I'm just talking about finances. I'm not even talking about the fact that I am brown, and so my child most likely is going to be some form of brown. Whether you light skin, brown skin, or dark skin, my child is going to be brown. So now I got to think about potentially raising a child, son or daughter, in a world where police hate us. And white supremacy is very much still on and popping. And daycare costs $500 an hour. Yeah, so that birth rate is going to keep decreasing to 2026 and 2027, 2028. Simple. Until y'all start doing something about this economy and the world that we live in. Because last time I checked, you have a baby in Japan. First of all, they're paying you because you're having the baby. Number two, they're making sure that baby is taken care of for at least a year. Number three, that baby is taken care of when they come out the hospital, and they sending you gifts, sending you home with gifts, and sending gifts to your home. And you want me to have a baby in these United States? You're crazy, bro. You're crazy.
I love the fact that everyone is giving their thoughts on this. I do have 2 more videos of people reacting to the birth rate plummeting and even the government giving incentives out to encourage people to give children. This is my favorite topic, if you haven't noticed. I don't think I've smiled this much in like any of my previous videos. Sorry. Anyways, I post every morning, every evening. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's continue this conversation down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.